Hi, thank you for that kind introduction, Sir JK. So, let me start. Happy International Women's Day. So, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we remember that health is vital to attain social, economic, cultural, and political achievements. Hence, staying healthy allows us to live a full life with meaning and purpose. So, first, what is women's health? It is a broad term referring to physical and mental health problems that are exclusive for women and which are common in women or which differ in presentation, severity, or consequences in women compared to men. Why women's health? What is so significant about it? Being born as a man or a woman has a significant impact on health as a result of both biological and gender-related differences. Women has unique health concerns including menstrual cycles, pregnancy, birth control, menopause, and that is just the beginning. A number of health issues affect only women and others are more common than men. What's more, men and women may have the same condition but different in symptoms. Many diseases affect women differently and may even require distinct treatment. The health of women and girls is of particular concern because in many societies, they are disadvantaged by discrimination rooted in social-cultural factors such as social norms that decrease education and paid employment and opportunities, an exclusive focus on women's reproductive roles, and potential or actual experience of physical, sexual, and emotional violence. As I have mentioned earlier, women's health is a broad term. For now, we will focus on some major issues in our setting that includes maternal health, sexual health, and reproductive health, cancer, and mental health. So, for the maternal health, it is defined as the health of women during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postpartum period. Under maternal health, there is maternal death. Women die from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. Maternal mortality is higher among women living in rural areas and poorer communities. Such causes of maternal death includes bleeding, infection, high blood pressure, and difficult labor. To prevent these, we encourage women to avail themselves of antenatal care in pregnancy, skilled care during childbirth, and care and support in the weeks after childbirth. We encourage women to give birth in a health facility to make sure that she is assisted by a skilled health professional. Also, practice good hygiene is a must. For sexual and reproductive health, it includes menstruation, fertility, contraception, sexually transmitted infections or STIs, chronic health problems like endometriosis, and menopause. First, I'd like to enumerate common myths about fertility. First, they say that if you are healthy, you will have no problem getting pregnant. That is not true. 1 in 9 couples have trouble conceiving, and this can increase with age. Second, they say that PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome makes it impossible to conceive a child. That is also an absolute false. Although it can affect fertility, on average, women with PCOS have the same number of children as other women. Third, some say that endometriosis cannot be treated. No, it can be treated by medication, surgery, or both. A common concern in sexual and reproductive health also includes sexually transmitted infections or STIs. It is very common, and anyone who has sex can get STIs. Not all STIs have obvious symptoms, so you may not know that you already have one. Good news is most STIs can be treated. However, if left untreated, they can have serious effects on your health. So better get an STI test at least once a year, usually with a simple blood or urine sample. Another one would be one of the most common questions I encounter from older age group would be, what are the symptoms of menopause? This includes tiredness, irritability, itchy skin, vaginal dryness, headaches, night sweats, urinary problems, body pain, sleep problems, and even weight gain. And these are all normal. And anyone can breeze through it. So for cancer, I will be discussing only breast and cervical cancer, which are the most common. So let's start with the breast cancer. So breast cancer is the most common cancer among women in the Philippines. According to the Philippine Statistics of Authority and the Department of Health, it shows that 3 in every 100 Filipino women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Female gender is the strongest breast cancer risk factor. Family history of breast cancer increases the risk of breast cancer, but lack of a known family history does not necessarily mean that a woman is at reduced risk. Breast cancer most commonly presents as a painless lump or a thickening of breast, and it is important that women finding an abnormal lump in the breast consult a health practitioner without a delay of more than 1 to 2 months, even when there is no pain associated with it. Seeking medical attention at the first sign of potential symptom allows for more successful treatment. So, how do you check for breast cancer or for breast mass? Of course, you do the breast self-exam. So, when do you do the breast exam? So, you do it once a month, a week after your period, so there will be no swelling, there will be no tenderness. If you are no longer menstruating, choose a day each month so you could remember. So how do you do it? First, look in the mirror and then inspect your breast for asymmetry, any asymmetry or skin changes or skin discoloration. And then you raise one arm above your head. So for example, you raise your left arm above your head, so you use your right hand to test for your left breast and vice versa. So again, so you put your right arm above your head and then you use your left hand to inspect or to touch your right breast. Okay? And then start feeling for lumps, for masses, and remember to use the pads of your fingertips here. So, touch all portions, up and down, left and right, okay? And then check from the underarm area to the chest wall, to the sternum, and don't forget to gently squeeze your nipple to check if there is any bleeding or discharge. Okay? So second, for cervical cancer. Cervical cancer, on the other hand, is the second leading cancer site among women. Unlike breast cancer, cervical cancer has an infection-related cause, particularly from human papilloma virus or HPV. Hence, HPV vaccination remains the primary prevention against cervical cancer. But remember, HPV is not a substitute for routine cervical cancer screening, which is your pap smear. Okay? So, pap smear can find this cancer early when treatment can be most effective. So when do we do pap smear? So in the Philippine setup, a woman's first pap smear should be done 3 years after the first vaginal intercourse, and then after that, it should be done every year for the next 3 years. If negative for 3 consecutive years, it can be done every 2 or 3 years. If an unmarried woman who never had sexual activity on their life, pap smear should be done at age 35. So that's it for cancer. Then let's move on to mental health. Next slide, please. Okay. For mental health, according to research, the most common mental health problem in women is depression. Compared to men, women are twice as likely to experience post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. Moreover, most people with eating disorder are also women. Studies say that these mental disorders may be attributed to genetic and biological factors, also social vulnerability. For the genetic and biological factors, that includes hormonal changes during menstrual cycle and even during and after pregnancy. In addition, women are exposed to higher levels of violence, whether it's sexual or physical violence. The women are associated with an increased risk of mental disorder. Of course, we encourage women to take care of themselves and their health. Hence, we can take these steps toward improving our health and becoming the best version of ourselves. So first, drink a lot of water. Recommended intake is 8 to 10 glasses a day because it flushes toxins, prevents headaches, and promotes healthy skin. And then next, eat healthy or adapt a healthy diet. Because by eating more fruits and vegetables and avoiding processed foods, our body will get the nutrients it needs while losing weight at the same time. Next, take care of your skin. Proper skincare prevents aging as well as various skin problems or conditions. Next, be active. Be physically active. Do exercises. So, aim to do 30 minutes of exercise a day, 5 times a week, or 5 days in a week. It both improves physical, mental health. And other benefits include reduced heart attack, better moods, and lower blood pressure. Next, relax. Take time to relax, stop stressing. Your mental health affects your physical well-being. So keeping your stress levels down is crucial to living a healthier life. Get more sleep. During sleep, your brain signals your body to release hormones that help decrease risk of health conditions, strengthen your immune system, and retain your memory. Next, you should also take care of your reproductive health. Again, as we have emphasized earlier, reproductive health is a huge part of a woman's whole health. And lastly, and definitely not the least, get your annual checkups. Early detection can prevent complications, also allowing a better chance of treatment. Even if you are healthy, going to your doctor annually allows your doctor to spot changes to your body in order to avoid problems in the future. Thank you. So that will be all. So once again, Happy International Women's Day.